Welcome to the Story Tinker Podcast, a place for in-depth analysis of webtoon stories. Co-hosted by sharp, witty, and dare I say, thirsty fans, we dive deep into every episode, analyzing character struggles, relationship development, and of course, theories. You can follow the Story Tinker on YouTube, podcast platforms, and social media. For bonus content, sneak peeks, and more, you can support the Story Tinker on Patreon. We are really appreciative of your likes, subscribes, and follows on all platforms. Thank you for listening to the Story Tinker, and let's get started. Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 147 of Let's Play on the Story Tinker. And today we have Emily and Sabra.
Okay, so I'm Emily, and let's get into this. So we start off with a flashback from chapter 60, I think you said, Mindy? Okay, so we start from a flashback from chapter 60, where we see Ava looking very meanly into the camera. We're looking at Charles saying, "You told me you like confident women," and he holds up his finger in his sexy domineering way and says that is true. Oh god. And then so I'm not, trust me, like I'm 100% a Sam Charles shipper, but like that finger on the lips is like doing things to me even though it's not Sam. And
it was supposed to.
Yeah,
it's funny. My reaction is the opposite. I'm like, get your hands off of me. Nobody tells me what to do. I very much do not like them.
Nobody tells me what to do, but I do like it when they try.
Okay, so like I was just about to say that. I like that's 100% it. Like, don't tell me what to do. I'm not gonna listen, but actually like give it a shot because like I might enjoy you attempting it. It's not gonna work, but I'll enjoy the attempt. 100%.
Yeah, it's very interesting noticing like how people like different things.
Oh, yeah.
But one thing I also like noticed about Eva, and Eva, I find her an interesting person because you see right away in the first panel what I think maybe personifies her. She's very assertive, she's very aggressive, she's very direct, she's very blunt, but she's still blushing when she says that. And
True.
This whole,
and she's got a little worried sweat drop.
Right. Mm-hmm. And when this happened, I guess I'll say how I feel about how Charles treated her in this thing at the end. But I feel like, she does have some vulnerability when it comes to talking to him. Like she does want him to some extent, right? Which is what, he told her at some point, right? Because he said to her like, "Oh, I don't want feelings," right? That was with Ava, right?
Yes. Charles said that she broke the rules because she became too attached.
Yeah. So that's like, it's a little hard for me to see that where she is, still her personality with like her toughness and her strength, but she obviously does care about what he thinks of her. So kind of made what comes up like very like hard to watch.
It was for sure. And she has that kind of like bratty like that bratty sub kind of personality to her where it's like she likes to push, but like
she was pushing him. I don't know. I don't feel as sorry for her because I saw what she did to his poor body with the bruises all over, and I was just like, oh, that's too much. It's too much. But
and I'm right in the middle where like I feel like I pity her, but I also think she's tough enough and she will be fine. So
right.
She showed that this episode.
She
totally
sure.
Yes.
Which we see. So we see Charles using his body like the little manipulative, sexy boy that he is, and he has her literally eating out of the palm of his hand with that finger tilt, which gets me the finger tilt. Yeah, that kills me. And then he grabs. Then he grabs her, twists her face, and says, "There is a difference between a woman with confidence and one who's simply being a bitch. I highly recommend, Miss Eva Lawson, that you learn the difference." And that is like, so I get it, Mindy. That's harsh.
But I think I felt like she was so ashamed after that. That's like shaming her. Whoa.
And which is probably why she felt the way she did going on. But I think I remember when I first read this also being like, yeah, but that's probably because I was still looking for Charles to show his true colors. And I was like, the way she was demeaning him. I have a mother who is very let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? So she is a marriage counselor, and so she has to deal with a lot of marriage issues, and so she sometimes has a very low opinion of men. And yet, in my experience, I've had a lot of amazing men in my life, and so I have this dual shouting in my brain is like, we can't just put men in this evil box because they're men. And, you know, so I kind of sometimes when I feel like that's happening, I want to see them break through a little bit and show some good colors. Now, I'm not saying what he did was very kind, but I did like that he was standing up for himself and he wasn't, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get where you're getting at. And I like, he has a very complicated past with women personally. So I understand that this is building up, this is deepening his character. You know, I also don't like when a character is too likable. I like, you know, a character kind of needs some
we know, Emily.
Yeah, okay, true. I'm the wrong person to be speaking about this because I love villains, but yeah, so I think that having flaws gives people character, and it makes you appreciate the changes that they go through, the good things that they you know can accomplish, all the sweeter for the fact that they've you know overcome harder things. So he had an obviously hard marriage that lost all of his trust in relationships. He boxed himself up into this little perfect corporate Welsh boy, and now
got him tied up all in chains.
Tied up all in chains. Yeah, and he's got rules now, and he has a quick temper. You know, he obviously takes out his he has rules and he has laws and he has a bound set of rules for himself and for others that of how he thinks he should uphold them. So I think this was an interesting dynamic just to see what his rules are, how he treats people that step outside of the rules, and then how he's changing now. We saw how and who he's changing for, which I think is fascinating.
Oh, one more point. What he's actually saying here, I think that's what he's saying is what I completely agreed with. Because women can sometimes be so confident, but it's in such a negative way, they just sound like bitches. And so when I read this, it was kind of reaffirming to me what he's trying to give Sam. He doesn't want her to become an Eva. He's not looking for that. He's not trying to turn her into this, but he's trying to explain the difference between confidence and just being mean. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of entertaining.
And I don't think, okay, so we're going to get to this in a second. I don't think he liked the idea of being used. He obviously has a sensitive spot with trust in relationships, with genuine feelings. And I think at that point he realized that she was looking to use him for whatever means that was going to be. And then
rile him up.
Yep. And then we get to the upcoming scene where we see Charles the next morning walking up to Sam's apartment, and he remembers the memory from, I'm assuming, was it yesterday? Like the day?
Yeah, it was the night before.
Yeah. So
before we do that, can I just say a little bit more about the previous scene, the flashback? So I have to just commend Charles for his masterful use of, I think, you know, you said that with like the lips, but he also like he does everything to make her think that it's going to be affectionate, like the lips and you know, he pulls her in, like pulls her hips in, and even the grabbing the neck. So Eva, if I recall correctly, is the one that was interested in like BDSM stuff. So it is a pretty aggressive move, but I think he understands that she might even like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
She definitely likes seeing their sexual stuff. So I think that maybe he wouldn't do it to any random woman because it is a pretty aggressive move to do that. But I think he understands that would be okay with it, I guess.
In all honesty, it probably wasn't the motions that was more of the sting. It was the words probably that stung her, that got her so angry in that departing scene when he's walking away. You can see her seething, blushing, but seething at the same time.
Yep. Yeah. It's complex emotions.
I know.
Turned
Why
on.
does that make me so attracted to you, and why am I so pissed off?
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, would not do it for me. But yeah, I married a super, super passive man because apparently that's how I like him, for better or for worse.
That's good
For a
though.
passive man, it's great.
Hmm.
It really
We're
is.
allowed to like different things.
Oh yeah.
I married
it's
a
not
man
like
in the
it's-
middle.
Yeah.
I married a man in the middle. Yep. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny because
That's pretty much true. Considering I do love villains and very troubling characters in most of my webtoons, I do like I don't know if anyone read My Dear Cold-Blooded King, but like I like the villain in that too. Like
wait, who was which villain?
Yuta, well, the actual Yuta, or what
The
was
one that he
his-
grew up with.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Mhm.
I forget
Yeah,
his
yeah.
I forget his like
Yeah, he was you know, weird.
I have a
words.
quote
Yeah.
for you that just it's the perfect quote. It just sums up exactly what I look for in a man. It's from Anna Avonlea, I believe. It's probably from the movie. I don't think it's actually in the book. But
Oh my gosh, I know that line. I know what line you're gonna say. I remember it since I was like 5th grade when I first saw it.
I know. And it's her friend is asking her, you wouldn't want to marry a wicked man? And she's like, of course I don't want to marry a wicked man, but I would like it if he could be wicked.
Yes, such a good line. I love that.
Is that the line? I'm assuming that's the line.
Okay, I missed it because my darling daughter came in. But is it the line which you said, I want a man who could be bad if he wanted to be bad? That one?
I would like it if he could be wicked.
Right. I think she's talking with Marilla. But yes, I love
100%
that line.
It's a good line. I think that reading that line was like, oh wait, as a kid, I was just like, yeah, I can see me marrying a guy like that. I don't want him to be wicked, but I'd like it if he could.
That I need to print that and like staple it to my forehead.
Yeah.
Okay, so back into this, we get the scene from yesterday again at the fencing studio. I don't know what you call them, and our little homeboys wrapped up in chains again. I love the use of the chains behind the panels because it's very subtle. Like if you're not paying attention, like you miss it.
I remember when we first saw them, and it's like, oh, what are those chains? And then we saw them again, and we're like, oh wait, that means something.
Yep.
Yes.
Which it's such so the use of
Emoticons?
I'm looking for, but like inanimate objects or emotions or things that are then like imbued with energy. Like these like chains are like they're so visceral and they're like we can tell like the emotion behind
Like when they
them.
go after Vicky, and yeah.
Exactly. And they're like, and then in general, like even just like the emoticons or whatever they're called, like the personification of like
Emotions.
like two ideas linked into something normal. Like it's this disembodied person, but it's rage, it's whatever. It's these chains that
Fascinating.
really like restrained and locking himself away. So I think it's just like really fascinating the use of outside elements for the characters, emotions. But we get a little bit of role reversal here where Ava's looking at Charles now with a, wow, you must have it bad to be considering me, which self-deprecating. Yeah.
Well, he's looking at her with his, when Sam gets lust, her eyes turn this kind of auburn color. You can kind of see
and they get
some red.
a slit.
Yeah. And with
slit.
Charles, his are a brighter blue.
Yeah.
A brighter blue. And yes, the slit, almost the cat eye look.
Goes all, a little snake. I love it. Yeah. So is that him touching? No, it's her touching him going up. So it's but it's like you said, we did have fun together. She's taunting him. And look at how he just leans into her hand there. Like all of us were like, yeah, everyone's biting.
Gravitational pull.
Everyone's biting their tongues. I mentioned
also his hair is gorgeous, just has to be said.
Oh, yeah. Also, like they have
hair,
nice
gotta love his messy hair.
They've got the cute little cuts going on there. But yeah, so she's taunting him, the two of us together. Do you still miss the fun we used to have? Tell me you do. And she's using literally the same thing, like the lip lean, the sweet little, temptress. And then as soon as he starts to fall into it, she pulls the same move and turns it right back on him with the chin grab and the twist.
She got him good. She got me good too, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And like that, look at how she's still pissed off. And like honestly, like like he says, it's a good thing she holds a grudge, because that was about to turn.
Yeah, who's the bitch now, right? My goodness.
I'm very proud of her. I think that was a very good move on her part. Like,
Actually,
good for you.
my love for Eva in this grew
Escalated.
like 50 points. I was like, yes,
He
because
really deserved
like
that.
he did. I mean, keep it in your pants, buddy. Right. Yeah, he deserved it. He was not invited,
Yeah.
and heaven knows he didn't behave in the past to be welcome.
And also, she didn't want his pity, which I kind of appreciate. You know, it wasn't like
it wasn't even pity. He wanted her because he's lusting. That's it. And that would totally be using
That was
her. And
lust.
especially if she developed feelings, then of course she doesn't want to be used that way. So yes, good for her.
Yes, no, I completely agree. As much as I love Charles, he deserved this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He needed
I mean,
a good.
it's helping
He
him.
needed a good
Put it in
smack.
place.
Good, for sure.
Sometimes the best men do.
No,
Well,
Mindy.
everyone, I mean,
Or
you
no.
know, we all make mistakes and do stupid things. So just putting him in
Need
his place.
reminders. But to be honest, Sam put a number on him that last time we saw the poor man.
Oh yeah.
He's not in his right mind.
No. He's thinking with his, what do they say, their lizard brain. It's no longer Charles. It's a devolved version of him.
Yeah. All right, is this me?
Yep.
All right. So again, we see Charles. He's still walking up the steps after remembering that instance the previous night. Thank goodness Eva holds a grudge. Otherwise, I would have ended up doing something I regretted.
Which
Mad about that.
answers our prediction, because we were like, the whole fandom was divided on will he or won't he? So now we know he would have.
Yeah. And to be honest, as much as it would have hurt the fandom, he's allowed to.
Yeah.
He and Sam are not a thing yet. He would have been allowed to. The reason I think people get upset is because it is another obstacle for their ship and they don't want that.
Yeah.
So, all right. But then he goes on, she's right though, I was behaving inappropriately. And I was like, okay, good. You at least see what you did was wrong. Yes.
Yeah.
Inappropriate.
I think that's the best thing. You know, I think that one of the things that like I try, like is always foremost on my mind is like, how do I become a better person and how do I fix my mistakes and the things I'm doing wrong? And it's something, I mean, to me, I think it's the most important thing I can do with my life, right? Is become a better person by the time I die. And, you know, seeing people go through this process where they're evaluating themselves and trying to make themselves be better. That's
And making
like,
those course corrections as they go through life. Which is what a normal person would do. Nobody is able to just be perfect all of the time. They've got to make these course corrections as they travel through. I also think he was behaving inappropriately can also maybe apply to him losing his temper with the kids and everything. You know, just I gotta. Yeah, the whole thing. He was just behaving inappropriately. Yes, it has been a while for me, but that is no excuse for my behavior.
So his immediate thought was like, well, I was horny. So like, yeah, that was my little bit of an excuse. He's like, no, that's not an excuse.
Personally, okay, you guys can disagree with me, but I kind of feel like with all of these chains, he is just 100% in complete denial of the extent the chemistry is between him and Sam.
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know if he does. Do you think he even gives it a thought? Like, I feel like he doesn't even want to think about it.
He probably doesn't, because if he has to think about it, he has to think about what his wife did to him, to be perfectly honest, because he's not ready for a real relationship until he needs to mentally process what happened in the past. And in the Q&A with Mangi that we did a while back, she mentioned that we only see, for Charles' past, we only see what he thinks about. So I thought it was kind of poignant when he goes to open the door, but we do not see what's past it. We know what's past it, but we never see it. And it's because he does not think about it. So I think you're right. I think he doesn't want to think about it. So I think part of his behavior isn't just because he's horny, but because he is suppressing a lot more than he thinks. That's just me.
No, I think that's an accurate statement. And also so you have to, it's one of those, you can't love someone else till you can love yourself. So he already feels degraded, I'm sure. A lot of times that, that kind of lifestyle that he's leading now is based off of, he feels some kind of amount of shame. So he displaces that. He kind of pushes it out on others, and uses that as a kind of release. And I don't think Sam would be receptive to that kind of attitude. So he's gonna have to confront, Sam is looking for honesty. He's gonna understand that. And she's also a very different person from the other women he's been seeing relationship wise. She's, relatively shy and innocent. So for him to be able to continue living in his world is just not going to work for them.
Nope.
So that's going to be a pretty big obstacle, and that's a lot to process for him. So, which makes it all the more sweeter for us as readers, because we like that pain.
We like the growth through the pain, I think.
Yes.
So, okay, we can talk more about that, because I feel like there's more in this episode where we can discuss that. I've always said that one of my favorite things about this is how every character has a level of trauma that they're working through, and that the goal of the author isn't to dish out more trauma to them, but help them grow through their trauma. And I think that's really refreshing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's a guide for a lot of people going through certain issues like anxiety and loss. And all right, so he's walking down the hallway towards her door. I have been acting like a rutting stag, eager to slake my thirst with a comely doe.
Which is the cutest way
Really
of
wish I
saying,
could
like,
do a Welsh accent, but I have no Welsh accent.
No, got nothing.
I love it. He's so eloquent, and he's so gentlemanly. Even when, like, we just said he's horny, and he's like, I am like a running stag.
He's waxing poetic.
That's the most poetic way to say I'm horny I've ever heard.
I love it. I think it's adorable.
No wonder everyone loves him.
I know. Yeah. Oh, love it. All right. And then we get the line, but I am not an animal. He's lifting his arm up, getting ready to knock on her door. I should be controlling myself better than I have. No, Charles, you shouldn't. Control has had way too much part of your life.
Yeah.
It's just
bad idea at this point.
Control, back off.
Right, but that's his only tool. He's like, what do I do?
That's all he's got.
That's the only thing that will help my problem.
He's a one-trick pony.
But he's good at it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I still want to see exactly the emotions that Control has wrapped up. Now, we saw a ton of them, so we could easily say all of the emotions are tied up. But personally, I just want to see, is it guilt? Is it love? Is it lust? What is tied up?
Trust is
because
a lot.
If you think about it, Charles has been with other women, right? But I mean, and even when he was getting close with Sam, but he never let go of that chain at that point. So for me, what is he letting go of exactly? Does that make sense? Because obviously he still lusts.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm curious. Super
curious is good.
All right.
Do we know? I don't remember. Did we ever see the emoticon that was holding the chains? Was it called Control?
Yes.
Oh,
okay. It was labeled.
Yeah, that was the season finale last time. Okay. It was we get it and we see Control's face coming through.
Okay. I remember
I don't like this webcomic at all. All right, so I should be controlling myself better than I have. As he gets ready to knock, the door just opens and he looks very surprised, very shocked, and then panicked. Samara, are you all right? As he pushes through the door.
And Bowser's just like, yo, dude, what's up?
Yeah. Hey, my buddy.
Yeah.
He is so much closer to his heart than he realizes. He is so concerned for her.
Personally, I kind of think some people might disagree, but I kind of, being an animal lover, for me, I'm always like, you trust the dog. You trust the dog.
100%. Always. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So he's inside Sam's apartment and you hear, yes, Charles. And you see little Bowser. You can't see Sam, but you see little Bowser, and Bowser comes to greet him as Sam is saying, sorry, I'm running late. That's all right. Your door was open and I was worried.
Or like I was having a heart attack.
Tail wagging. I know, he's probably yeah. He's got sweat drops. He was not a calm fellow.
That was just a therapy dog in this moment for him.
Yes. That's why he knelt down to pet him. He's so polite, even to the dog.
Yep.
I mean, he's so precious.
He doesn't like pet him. He shakes his hand like a.
He does. Yes, it's super cute. All right, so we got Sam say. Let's see. Yeah, Sam is saying, yeah, I didn't want to leave you standing in the hall, so I just left it open for you. So we're still listening to Sam in the background, but yes, Charles kneels down and says, "Borda, boyo," and I'm pretty sure that scene is "Good morning, boy."
It is. Yep.
Yeah. Because that's what he said to Sam. Remember that. All right. Sorry, I'm running late. I was talking to a friend until morning. It's all right. All right, we got to pause here for a second. So there is some questions on who was she talking to?
I'm assuming they meant Marshall because that's where we left off. It was the moon.
That's where we left off.
It was literally they were chatting on the balcony about her game, about his design, and then it panned to the moon, which it was late or early in the morning, whatever you want to. So that seemed like pretty poignant to me.
That's what I was thinking. Well, obviously there's the theory that it's that it was Monica.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not in the Monica theory.
Oh, okay.
Not until morning. I don't think that all the way till morning. I think it's more likely they were discussing the game. That's just what makes sense. Sam's game. But then somebody did point out, and I'll just say it because technically it's a possibility. Well, should I mention that? We'll discuss it later. Never mind.
Okay. I thought it might be that she meant okay, so if this, I guess it probably did happen last night, but even I assumed that she was talking more to Diane until late, and then she did talk to Marshall, but I kind of thought that maybe the part that made her late was actually Diane. But I don't know, I guess the truth is their interaction wasn't that long. So I guess it could make sense. Probably makes more sense.
Well, she was playing until late with Diane. On the game.
Spoke to Marshall after.
And then we spoke to Marshall afterward, and we technically never did see the end of that conversation. It was just them talking about the game, and that's where the episode ended. So
well,
we don't know.
Either way, it's funny because now I'm I used to be like a crazy late bird, and even until fairly recently, I would sleep at till 2-3 a.m. And now I'm like, I could never survive. And when I read this, I was like, Sam, how are you going to work if you stayed up till the morning?
Go to bed. Coffee. She drinks coffee.
She's also younger. She's only 22. At 22, I for sure was able to do this. And I'm 32 and I can't anymore.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't stay up late anymore. All right. So she is calling from her room, but I could use your help if it's not too much trouble. Sure. And we see him getting ready to peek in. What do you need? It's just that.
Look at Bowser's face.
He's just
look at his little face. He's like, "Hi, Mom. What's up?"
Yep. All right, we see just a little corner of Sam's face. You can tell she's blushing and sweating. It's just that the zipper stuck. She's wearing that green dress that she got from her mother. And she's like, I can't zip up my dress. And we see the small of her back all the way down to her waist. And what do we think is happening with Charles? All right. Could you help me with it, please? And she looks back and gives him these doe eyes. And what does Charles love? The doe eyes. The rutting stag is going to have issues.
Yeah.
Right? And he's got his doe. Right?
Oh my God. The chains I absolutely love that they clink into place as soon as he sees her.
Yeah. And he is just choking. He is literally just blush and a half and just sweat drops. And he is just.
I love his face.
And then we see.
By the way, should I say TMI? So my husband, thank God Yoel doesn't listen to the podcast because he would know the things I say. So I always try to get dressed and undressed when in our bedroom when Yoel's there, rather than in the bathroom, even though my personal preference would be in the bathroom because he likes it when I get dressed and undressed in front of him. So I can see that. It's a little tactic.
Yeah. I have to say, I made my husband read this entire episode.
Take notes, sir. Yeah.
That's take notes, really. So, and then we have, this is very important in bold print, I am not an animal. So he is, I am not an animal. He is really just bold print. Okay. All right. Next panel. Next panel, again, chains in the background. Usually the chains are in 1 or 2 panels. Not right now. It is in every panel coming up.
It's
All
almost like he has to physically, so like when you see it once, it's like, okay, they're activated, then you just assume. Now it's almost like he has to remind himself that literally I'm not an animal. He's literally keeping the chains on, like
that's his current mantra for however long. All right. Sorry, I know it's silly. I was in such a hurry and I jammed it. And she's just kind of, it's all right, Bunty. I don't mind. Yeah, damn right. Don't mind. Sorry. But I love how you see the height difference here. Is that not just funny to everybody else? You can only see from here down. You don't need to see how much he's flushed. That's all right. I don't mind.
Height difference is the thing for me because I'm 5 exactly. Like I'm 5'0", and my husband is 6'2".
Nice.
Like,
oh my goodness.
6'2". So like this has always been like size difference is my thing. I just love it. Like so when I see this, I'm just like, ha, yes.
And again, we have I am not an animal. Bold print. Chains. We see Charles blushing with a sweat drip. We see the back of Sam, and it's really stuck, so it might be hard to fix. I'm more worried I will pinch you in the zipper.
Oh,
That's really what he's worried about. So cute, though.
it is cute.
So cute.
And his little blush.
His little blush and his little sweat drop. Okay, I am not an animal. Again, in the bold print, but we can tell at this point, I didn't notice it at first, but we can tell that it's starting to fade.
Yeah.
Also, her back in this next panel, like she's arting it. Like girl is working it, and like
no. Okay, Mongi, the art
she's
is
not wearing a bra.
Oh no bra. No.
Yeah.
That would just ruin the whole effect.
Wow, that didn't even hit me. I don't know why, but you're right.
She's very big breasted.
She's
I'm like,
very
that dress
busty, did not have a bra.
Right, like that dress must be very, very supportive.
Or
she doesn't look supportive. She's just embracing it.
She's keeping it.
She hasn't had children. She doesn't have to worry about things drooping yet. All right. Sorry. TMI.
Even before I had kids. Yeah.
All right. Again, the chains are in the background. We just see Charles fidgeting with the zipper. Darn zipper. So he's worried that he's going to pinch her, and she says, I trust you. No pressure. I love that. It's so cute. No pressure. Again, even fainter. I am not an animal. He is trying.
And failing.
Failing. Very failing. All right. And then I love it. You wanted it zipped up, correct? With a little blush and a sweat drop, and she's just looking back, grinning. Yes, up, please, as she chuckles.
So my favorite, so this is one of my favorite themes in Midnight Poppyland too, which is why I think I like Charles's deflections so much, is that when characters like Charles get flustered, yeah, is a good word. When they get flustered, when they are starting to lose, when they're in a zone that is, they're out of their comfort zone, they're not sure where to handle things, they fall back on sexual innuendos and deflections. Yeah. It's almost like they use that, as a coping mechanism. And so he goes into like full on just like sex as a defense, which I think is like, I like that. I think it's a cute, character trait.
Yeah.
It's funny because I actually thought the exact opposite. I thought that, this is very clearly a sexual moment, and we'll find out, like, intentionally so. But I thought that he was being honest, and that was I was like proud of him for being honest about his sexual desires, because I was trying to recollect, like, he didn't really.
It is fading. We can see that I'm not an animal fading, so it is a possibility that that's part of his desire coming through.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but he's still using innuendos and jokes to cope with what he's going through right now.
I think it's a little both. Yeah, I think he is being. I mean, it's the same way you say like there's a little bit of truth in every sarcasm. Like he obviously is feeling desire here. Like that's not enough. Like if she said like, yeah, actually unzip it, like I feel like it would just those chains would be gone.
So could I convince you to keep it down?
And he's
Again?
smiling. He rarely smiles. It's a cute little smile.
I know,
Right, it's weird. It's kind of strange. A little smile. I'm just like, who? And the eyebrow, like he
doesn't smile very often.
Mm.
He doesn't smile very often, but he's blushing. And then again, even fainter, I am not an animal. All right, and I like this. He's really trying to fidget with that zipper. Again, the chains are in the background. Charles, this is embarrassing enough as it is. I don't even know if he's struggling with the zipper because it's still stuck, or if he's just struggling emotionally, if he's going to actually pull it up because he's enjoying it too much where it is.
I think he's just, nervous and like not even really focusing on it.
Yeah, I read it as nervous, but you're right. It could just be like him fidgeting to try and get it loose.
Yep. You can't blame a man for trying. No, you cannot. I am not an animal, and it's barely a whisper at this point. Can you get it? Blushes all across his face, and he just lets out a sigh. And then the next one, which you can barely see, I am an animal.
Yes.
And then we see Control's hand slipping, the chain just whipping right out of its hand. And oh my gosh, I think I just cheered.
Yes.
Yeah. I was going to say something slightly more inappropriate, but cheered. I'll go with cheered. But
I can concur.
Yeah.
I can concur.
So now so his hand is wet, Control.
Yes, and that's from the dripping hearts.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I figured.
There was only a little bit left. Only a little bit left. So we haven't seen the hearts. There are no hearts here. But to me personally, I feel like they're thought out.
Yeah. Yep.
Completely.
Fully agree. That hand is it slipped. I love it.
Can I just say this was the best episode ever?
Oh yeah,
we're not even done yet, but this is just the best
exceptional
freaking episode.
My heart feels like all the things right now.
Well, we're about to feel.
We're just gonna pause here for just a second, because at this point, even though I knew I wasn't done with the episode, I was reading and my heart was pounding so hard, and I was just, oh my gosh, oh no. And then Mongi could have ended this episode here, which is what she does a lot.
Generous. Yeah, she's a generous queen.
A very generous queen. Yes. And she continues.
We are about to have very intense. I can't even look at it. It's so intense.
It's so good.
He has lost all control, and he just.
I am an animal. I love that. I am an animal.
Puts his hand on her waist, leans in for a kiss on the neck, which is, oh gosh darn.
You know I'm zooming in into his hands. Like, I'm
neck kisses. Oh. Okay.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
The look on Sam's face, though, we have to discuss that.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. I have to read this so I'll compose myself. So one neck kiss, then he leans in even closer and he goes down her neck and she's trembling and blushing. She's like, Charles.
You know what? The reason I had you do this one was because I knew I wouldn't make it through. Right here? Is this what we were talking about? These two next panels?
Go for it.
Yes. So then he takes his finger, puts
the back
it,
of his hand
along her bare back, slides it up, which is freaking hot. Okay, like
my jaw hurts from how tense I am from like smiling, and it's just like.
I think I just stayed on the jaw. Oh. I felt this. I felt this. I think my back arched when I read this.
Yeah, 100%.
This could be so well drawn. Oh my goodness.
Just saying.
So smooth. Like he's just like a sexy little demon. He just knows what he's doing.
Charles, yes.
He has very talented hands.
Okay. I'm glad we're all grown women doing this episode.
I told my
Also-
husband it's time for me to enjoy my mommy porn.
100%. But do you also see the movement in just those two panels? Because he starts with his thumb, like his thumb skims up, then he turns his hand a little bit so that his index finger does it, and then he turns it a little bit more so that his middle finger, like he's literally like skimming his hand up. Like you see
Right.
movement in those two fucking panels. Like, how can you not feel that? If you are not a sexual being, no matter what you are. Like, I don't care if you're an alien. If you read this, you're feeling something.
Okay.
And now, and then she gasps appropriately, and
We all did.
His head is
We all
just
did.
burrowed in her neck, and he's like kissing the part where her shoulder meets her neck. Oh my freaking gosh! How could you resist? I would not be able to stand straight at this moment. Okay.
Nope.
My legs would have been jello. I would have been in a puddle on the floor, and I'd be like, "Come back, I'm over here."
They're literally in her bedroom. Her bed is right there. Like, how could they have stopped?
Scooch over a little bit.
Oh. Oh my god! And he's pulling down her dress.
He pulls it down. He literally pulls it down.
My husband's sending me texts right now, and I'm like, I'm ignoring you. I'm a little busy.
We have reached the climax. Did I say it?
We've-
Yes.
Well, not that climax, but you know.
No, but I meant
Close enough.
I was whatever. This was what you were supposed to send your husband. We are at the climax. Go away, but or come back later.
Stop it, Jeremy. He's sending me all these memes. I don't even know what they are, but I know he's listening. So he's probably laughing at me.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I'm just saying these panels are a good prelude, in my opinion, if for some coupley activity.
100%.
Okay. So pulling down the dress, and now he is growling and about to bite her on the shoulder. And she's like, "Child, wait," which is also like just.
I thought
you said you liked submissiveness.
Yeah, like way too much information, but like biting again, like one of those things that I'm just like, I'm puddled.
We've
like
seen him do it twice now, and it is just. I'm sweating.
Yeah,
All right, Charles, wait, don't wait. Okay.
Don't wait.
She's like, "Don't bite there. People will be able to see it." And he jumps. And then she turns around.
Yep.
Sexiest look ever. And
Yep.
she is following Monica's advice.
Yep.
Leave marks only for you and I can see them. Oh my god. She learns fast, this girl.
And Charles.
The student has become the master.
Okay, what's interesting here though is that Charles' reaction is to rein himself. He sees that, like that literally hurt. She's forward for the first time. Like this is her actually like it's coming on to him, like being like,
she's
yeah, you
telling him what she wants.
Yeah,
right here.
Exactly. She's actually being like an upfront sexual being with him right here. And that's what snaps him out. Like,
well, in all honesty, I think the fact that she's inviting it is completely going over his head though.
Oh, true. Yeah, because he gets kind of yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He thinks that he's in control.
He is appalled right now about what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Poor boy.
Yeah.
Poor
So,
sweet
like,
boy.
Part of me wants to like jokingly be like, you think this is all you, buddy? Like he was just like, I was so good, I made her say something like this. So I'm like, really
yes. It's like, I made her give in, and I
think Sabra, I think what you said first is I don't think he even like registered the second part. I think he just registered the stop part.
Don't bite me there. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he went for I think he was just so shocked by that, like he didn't even listen to what she said after. Or like maybe when he runs it over later, he'll remember that, but I don't think he processed it yet.
Right now he's just appalled about what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks it's a bad thing. Ugh.
I know. It's like, wait, what?
I love how frail his hold on that is. Like,
yes. So go ahead.
Yeah. So grasps the train again, frail, and he still has the water running down. And then he just like leans over the bed. Sorry, go ahead. You wanted to say something?
No, I was just wanting to talk about this hand grasping the end of this chain, just the tail end of this chain. And it looks totally, is it emaciated? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, when we first saw Control was this monster,
Yeah.
this buff monster, and now he is just frail and
Atrophied.
Perfect, yes. And he's just barely grabbing the end of this chain and reining himself in, and we all know that that's not gonna last long.
No.
Yes.
If this much is unraveled already, he's screwed.
That's great. I only hope, I have kind of thought that the release of Control would come with emotional healing, that it would come when he became emotionally healed and then he would learn to let go. But like I see he's doing the letting go without the emotional healing part.
Well, part of me is wondering, because this is what I was wondering before, what emotions is Control holding back at this moment? And which emotion emotion was released at this moment? Because I don't think all of them were. Right. So I still think we need to see, and before the emotional healing can come, I think we still need to see how broken Charles is. Because we might be seeing the lust or the love or whatever coming through, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of, like you were saying, guilt and pain and trust that is being blocked right now as well. And
emotional healing was a good way to put that, because he's not, he can't emotionally heal when he is not accessing those emotions. So like if Control slips completely, that's also not a great thing. Like,
I think when we see that, it's not going to be very pretty, but I think that it needs to happen for us to get to a good place.
Yeah, we're cheering for it as if like we're thinking like we're gonna get a puppy, and all we're seeing is the good things and the sexiness and the Sam love and all the cuteness. When in reality, the puppy gets here and then it starts shitting everywhere, and you have to crate train it, and then like it's barking in the middle of the night and it's up, and you're like, crap, why did I get a puppy? Like, so
yeah, I keep thinking of that panel where we see Charles just sobbing, and that broke me. And I kind of think we're going to see something like that again.
Yeah.
But not right now.
Yeah. But for now, we'll just think about the good things, like the wagging tail of a puppy.
Yeah. And he just like bounces away from her, drapes himself over the edge of the bed. He physically turns away. Like he knows that he'll be too tempted if he faces her.
He's devastated, I'm telling you.
Look at his body language. Like he's like so closed off. He's literally crouching in on himself. Like,
and almost, does he look like he's almost shaking a little to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or grip. I don't know if it's shaking. Yeah, I guess shaking is good because it's head too.
Yeah. And he's like, Samara, I'm sorry. I told you to take the lead and I got carried away. I shouldn't have done that. Please forgive me. And he's reading the situation. I think he's reading the situation wrong, right? He's taking blame upon himself when nobody's mad at him, right? But he's mad at himself because he expected himself to control himself and he didn't, right? Even though, like, if he would be reading the room rationally, he would realize that she's really into him and she wants, she wants him. So
he's just, I don't know. He's a broken person. He's a broken man. He's got a lot of learning to do about himself.
Yes.
A lot of growing.
Yeah. And she says, oh, you think you were the one to make the first move. And then he pauses and like,
I love this panel right here. It's just a pause. Nothing's moving. He freezes.
Which, by the way, I think also he overlooked that because he had expectations of Samara. He thought of her as very shy and not confident, and he never expected her to come on to him. So I think that just went over his head because he wasn't expecting it. So, but she's changing.
Also, I just noticed that panel that's right under the hand grabbing the chain, where he says, Samara, I'm sorry. I love the composition of that panel because you see him hunched over like the dark headboard, the dark room in the background. Like it's like he's
that's the direction he's facing. It's very dark.
And she's got that light coming in from the window. Like it's very like open and airy and light and like, and it's just like a complete, like it actually shows like their mindsets without us having to like, it's like literally the subcontext in the comic is exceptional. So little things like that.
I mean,
just like really
yeah,
add.
no, that's beautiful. I didn't think of that. It's almost as if he's thinking that he was sexually assaulting her almost.
Mhm.
And it's like, dude,
You weren't stepping over a
you
line.
were stepping into her trap.
Yeah.
Which is what she says now. And he says, what do you mean? And she pauses for a moment with a little worried look and grasps her zipper and pulls it up in 1 second. And he's like,
he stands straight up.
She's like, the zipper was stuck, but it gets stuck all the time. And it's easy to fix. And I wanted you to do it for me. It may not have been the most direct approach, but it's the best I could manage. I'm still really shy.
And I love how he just like, look at that hand. Like, oh God, he's just so cute.
Oh gosh. And now he's like, and I
She's
felt
looking
it.
so worried there too. I mean, she did such a good job.
She did.
My goodness. It wasn't very direct. I'm sorry, but it's all I could manage. If that's all she could manage when she hasn't really learned much.
Wow.
Imagine
Yes.
the potential.
She will be. Yes.
Also,
Very,
She's going to be her mother. She's going to be her mother. She's going to be throwing sparkles at him. Yeah.
100%.
What a woman.
I like the showing and telling. Like she doesn't just say like, no, Charles, like this was me. She literally
she proved it.
Yeah, she literally just zipped it up like in a second. It was like and that like really drives the point home. It's just like, oh, like it really snaps it into place.
which also shows to me that the fact that Charles couldn't get it up for like 5, panels or whatever, just means he wasn't trying very hard.
All right, sturdy. My brain went completely different. I was like, I'm pretty sure I think it went up immediately.
Yeah. Yes, I was looking for that, by the way. I was like,
I
so
definitely zoomed in. I
Yeah.
was zoomed in on panels.
we did get a
that would be 3 of us actually. So there you go.
Okay.
I'm being perfectly honest here.
And he is very pleased. He's like, I shouldn't be surprised.
Oh, I was just thinking at the very, very first, when the reminder a panel where we see him and Eva. I thought you liked confident women. That where she zips it up herself, that confidence has got to be awesome for him.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what he means by being confident.
Oh yeah. And
Nice.
His next words, Mindy, just go for it. I love it.
I know, right? I shouldn't be surprised. You have always been exceptionally clever. Have dinner with me tonight and you can
Hook,
show
line, and
me
sinker.
more of how clever you are. Oh yeah. I mean, I said that before, but yeah. Fell for a hook, line, and sinker. And yeah, and he offers to take her to dinner and show me more of how clever you are. I don't know about you, but I read it in a certain way. It's
we all
not just IQ. Yeah. And
please show me how clever you are.
Yes.
I beg of you.
See. We all want to see.
So there's nothing sexier than an intellectual couple. Like they're both intelligent beings and like they use that brain power to amp up the sexy, and I love it.
Nice. Oh, I love it.
Look how happy he is. Like she's just like,
no.
He's smiling, she's blushing and happy, and
They're holding hands.
He's proud of me. I did a good job.
Swear to God, if Mangi breaks my heart, I will have to riot. He's gonna break it.
That's when we have to resort to fan fiction.
Yeah,
No, I really, oh man, I just can't see anybody else being Endgame. She's spending so much time developing such an amazing connection between these two characters. It would be like taking Tora and he calls her Bobby.
Right.
Is it Poppy?
Yeah.
That way Midnight Poppy led her. It would be like separating those two and handing her off to somebody else that we like in the story. It
to be
doesn't work.
I have trust issues with Mangi because like Lily has outright said like, this couple is endgame. Like she's like literally expressed like this is like, this is, a romance comic. It has a happy ending. And Mangi, on the other hand, I remember it was a long time ago, but I don't remember if it was on Patreon. I don't remember who was on in one of her Q&As, but she said that like the comic has like a different ending than any comic she's ever seen. And I was always like, what does that mean?
To be fair, that was so early on. That was before Charles even became a thing.
It was, but
And
like, that ratcheted up like that.
No, I do.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is when she said that, if you think about it, when she first started the comic, it was a given that she and Marshall were going to be together. It was a given.
Okay.
It was a given.
I actually never thought that, by the way.
Said that.
But I never thought that. Weirdly enough.
So when she said that, she was basically saying, she could have, I don't know what she's saying exactly. She could have been saying, well, usually you get this story and you know who the end game are because you get introduced the first panel, but then we get somebody else introduced, 15 panels in, 15 episodes in, and you still don't think it's him. You don't even like him. And so I kind of feel like Charles is the answer to that. But then again, I would bend everything Monkey said to make it sound the way I wanted it to.
I like your optimism. I feel like my heart is gonna be broken. So I'm like Charles right now. I'm a little bit like reining myself in because I know it's gonna hurt. I don't know. I think it might hurt, so I'm afraid.
So my prediction, which is, I think Sabra, you also thought this, but I think that something is going to happen where there's going to be this big schism between him and Sam. He's going to get hurt. He's going to misinterpret something. He's going to run away, and they're going to have like this big drama between them. And then maybe, then she'll get together with Marshall, and then we'll see at the end what happens if it's like.
I think we'll see a friendship blossoming between her and Marshall, but I don't think it's gonna. I don't know. I really don't see it becoming more than that.
Yeah, I agree.
Either. I don't see it. Sorry.
But go ahead, Mindy. I think I definitely see like, I think they both find each other attractive, but I also don't think you can't not be friends with somebody you find attractive. Like I think that's still perfectly acceptable. Like they're both good looking people. They obviously like, Marshall has blushed. He's obviously looked at Sam's wonderful assets, like, but that doesn't mean they can't be friends. So
he's not blind. He can enjoy what he sees, right?
Exactly. So I'm really hoping that I have this like, this sounds weird. I have this like theory that like you are friends with people you're attracted to, like same sex, not depending on, even if you're cisgendered, heterosexual, like I find people that I'm friends with, like not even just like physically, but like they're a person I'm attracted to, their personality, like the things that you mesh with. You pick friends, like you pick spouses. Like my husband is also my friend. Like I look for.
Well, you've got to be attracted to them in some way, not just sexually, but intellectually. Yeah, there's some type of attraction.
There needs to be an
anybody that you have
level.
A connection with. Mm-hmm.
Exactly, and maybe that's physical, maybe that's emotional, maybe it's intellectual, but in some way there needs to be attraction. So like you can still be attracted to someone physically and just be a friend with them, or you need to have some level of attraction for them to be a part of your circle, who you want in your life. So I think it's perfectly fine that Sam and Marshall have attractions on different levels. They have the same interests. They do find each other attractive in their looks.
They also fill in a missing piece. Sam needs an artist for her game, and Marshall is an aspiring artist. He wants, that's like his dream. So hence the little bounce that we saw. That was so adorable.
So cute.
So yes, I think Marshall is an important part in Sam's life and her growth, but I don't think it is going to be endgame.
Yeah.
Mostly because it would break.
What were you going to say, Mindy? I cut you off.
Oh, that in terms of like the personalities, I also see them just being really good friends. But I do think Maji wants to build up the romantic element just to build up drama in the story. So that's
which is why I think she's making you think that he's Dion, when in actuality it's Charles. You knew I was going to bring it up. You knew I was going to bring it up. I am in the minority. There was that what is it? Poll, and what was it, like 15 people thought it was Charles. I think the stalker got more votes. It was just like, I will die on this hill. alone
Yes,
if I
you
have to.
are. Yes, you're marshaling up a lot of evidence. It's okay.
Marshalling. Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah, I actually did not even say that on purpose, by the way, but thank you.
Oh my goodness. So good.
All right.
Best episode ever. Best
It really
episode ever. This was awesome.
And
Not
it's
over yet.
like we were discussing before we were recording this, but like it all happens in the span of like 3 minutes. Like this episode is literally a flashback, a memory, and then like tiny little window.
Zipping up a zipper.
Yeah, that's it. And yet
Mhm.
there's so much in that
To talk about.
Mhm.
You're pathetic. I'm just gonna say it.
No, we are not. We are enriching our lives with our hobbies, okay?
Mindy, you are an angel.
Like you appreciate the outlet.
Okay,
That's all I'm
listen,
saying.
guys. One of my majors in undergrad was English. And what do you think they do in all these journal articles, which I have read and which I still read? Well, okay, I don't still read them, but and all these books published about the classics, they do this kind of analysis. So people,
Okay, that's true.
This is college level stuff right here.
That's true.
We are going in deep. We are going
even
in deep.
in high school, I remember thinking like we would analyze a poem and they'd be like, the blue door actually like signifies like the birth into an afterlife. And I'm just like, maybe she liked the fucking blue door. Like, do we actually think it's maybe she just liked the color blue? And like, I feel like that's what we're doing now. You're right. We are deeply analyzing and possibly getting drastically wrong the intentions of the artist that we are following. But you're right. I appreciate that connection because you're right. We are doing literary critiques here. I
Thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, I've totally changed my whole perspective on this stuff. Like I always loved stories, but seeing what doing this podcast and what Webtoons has done in my life, like I was a very nasty person during those years when I was not creatively in touch with myself. Like I was working, I talk about it all the time because it was a very big part of me. Like I worked crazy hard. I was in school. I was not a nice person because I wasn't happy, because I wasn't connected to that. And as soon as I found Webtoons again and I started doing the podcast, I became happy again because I was creatively fulfilled and I was doing something I loved. Like I love the emotional analysis and I love gagaing over like these Webtoon relationships and
connecting with women that we don't. I've never met Sabra before, and yet here I am, like absolutely drooling over this man made of lines together.
I know.
Yeah. And the reason that my husband never complains about the podcast, even though I do it a couple evenings a week, and like whenever I'm sitting at the computer and I'm working on the podcast, is because he knows that I am a much happier person and his life is better because of this.
Yes, 100%. I mean, the amount of times that my husband has benefited from Webtoons romance scenes, I mean, he should 100% be like patrons for all of these artists.
I love it.
He is benefiting.
Yep.
I love it.
Exactly. Yeah. Anywho,
All right. The last few panels.
Yes. So now we go to the daily grind. And I was like, oh, what are we gonna see? We're gonna see, D or like, I don't know, Angela Link. And no, we see Mongi.
You know, it might as well be Mongi.
Monica. But we also see two background characters who I think maybe they're patrons or maybe they're friends of hers or something. Like they're just, it looks like pictures of real people. So I wonder if they're like.
In the last couple chapters, I've noticed she's gone to using like a lot of stock images for background items, background people. I think it's just a technique, a time saver for producing chapters, but I'm not sure.
I thought it might be patrons, but yeah.
It would be a good idea if it was, but yeah, it's probably just stock footage.
Yeah. So her phone chimes, she looks at it and she smiles while she's tapping it. And we get a glimpse of her text conversation with Kiddo, who is Sam. And it says, 8:20 a.m. This isn't going to work, Monica. Trust me, it will work. No straight man can resist the damsel in distress play. I can't do it. I'm too embarrassed. Head up, heels on, tits out. Oh my gosh, it worked.
I love it. I do have a question. So the eye, the lips, the eye, and then the nail polishing, does that have a title? I mean, what exactly is she going for with that? I mean, I get the drift
like,
of it.
Isn't like that.
Is that what it is?
No,
I don't know.
To me, it's like
You're queen. I don't know.
It's like a confidence thing. It's like yeah, it's like a hair flip. It's the equivalent of a hair flip. It's like the nails, like feminine power, like is what I think it but I
Sexy
don't think
power.
I don't know of it as a name, but I've seen people use it before, and it's usually it's kind of like a way of saying like "told you so," I was right, but in like a sexy kind of confident way.
Got it. Okay, I get it. I love
I
how
thought it was
Sam
like
saved
telling
his
Sam
kiddo.
like, oh, you should be sexy, like that's how you are now.
Because that's painting nails, so it's like it's an emoji of hands and then like nail painting. So yeah, it's kind of like to me it's like always like a hair flip, like a power move. Feminine. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. It's like casual, like I told you, like yeah.
Why doubt me? Why doubt me?
That's exactly it. Yeah, feminine.
Got it.
Yes, Monica knew what she's doing.
I love how she's got Sam saved his kiddo with a question mark.
Yeah.
Like she didn't remember who it was when she. What?
The friendship is so cute. Like they came from like, scary dog alpha lady and Sam being like, to like her actually being a really positive influence on her sexuality, on her femininity, on her like just her confidence. Like she has this sexually charged friend now who she's realizing that sex is okay and being.
And how sad is it that she's got so many friends in her life, women friends, and then she didn't feel comfortable going to them, but I'm glad that she's got Monica.
So this is I relate to this heavily because I've always been a relatively like over sexualized person. Like I read like romance novels at a young age. Like I had parents who were very open about sex. So like my idea of sex was like always very unstigmatized. Like whatever gets you off, like as long as you're not hurting anybody else, like I don't give a shit. From a young age, I was like, cool, awesome, this is great. But a lot of my friends, childhood friends, like it was always taboo. Like you grew up together, so like you never talked about this kind of stuff. Like my friends knew my parents, so like they would openly talk about sex things in front of them, and like they were always just like, oh my goodness.
That was my life.
Yeah, but it was like
fascinating. You're also very open.
When I got engaged, really quick, when I got engaged, my mom told me the first sex joke I'd ever heard out of her mouth, and I was just like floored. It was like I joined a club as soon as I got engaged. It was the funniest thing. All right, continue.
I was like little, and like my parents were just like they were just like chill about everything. But I know that I never those childhood friends, the people I knew from a young age, the people that I grew up with, like I don't have that same connection of I have a very large webtoon community now that I have friends in, and like there is nothing we don't talk about. Like we talk about like it's very Monica Sam relationship of like a lot of people coming out and like for the first time they say something and it's like, oh my goodness, is this okay, can I talk about this? And all of a sudden we're like, oh yeah, and then we unleash all these like kinks talks and all these other crazy things, and it's people are just like, oh my god, like this is okay to talk about. I'm like, yeah, lay it on me, girl, like we can talk about, you name it, like I no hold, like if this makes you feel good, let's talk about it. So I feel like I can relate to this very well, that sometimes like it's not that you're not close with those other friends, it's just that topic is you were too close. Maybe you had you already had a relationship formed based around video games.
Well,
emotional needs that are deep, her illness, they see her too as someone they met in the hospital that was sick, and so Monica just sees her as another woman.
Grade school. Yeah,
exactly.
She's just a frail little one that they have to protect. They can't see her as a sexual woman with sexual needs.
Exactly. And I'm sure they're glad that she's I mean, obviously Vicky,
well, they helped her with
like explore it, but and maybe now that that Sam has found other people to explore her sexuality with and has grown with it, maybe her and Vicky can have more conversations about it, and then they'll realize, like, cool, they can have this now, but that relationship wasn't there at that point. So sometimes you meet new people in your life. I firmly believe that you find new people as you move on your journey that you're supposed to find and grow with, and maybe they stay, maybe they don't, but like you had that moment of growing with that person, like
I remember Mongi mentioning in an interview when they were talking about, somebody asked, I really miss Monica. Are we going to see Monica at all during season 3, season 4? I don't even remember where we are.
Yeah,
season 3, something. And she's like, actually, you're going to see her more. She's going to develop a really great friendship with Sam. And see, and when I heard that, I was like, I don't think Sam can develop a romantic relationship with Marshall if she is really good friends with Monica. the girl code, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because they're not broken up. Well, they are, but they're on a break. But yeah.
Well, I mean, it would be great drama. Like I think I mentioned this before. Like if Monica told her like, "Oh, take care of Marshall for me," and if that ended up developing into a relationship and Monica would get hurt, yes, it would be very painful, but it would be great story trauma.
But what kind of trauma am I ready for? Oh, don't do this to me, Mindy.
I like all that stuff. I like. I was telling my friends, I was like, what did I say? Oh yeah, whatever, discussing issues, let's just say. And basically I said to them, like, I like drama. Like my life without drama would be boring. And I was talking about my attraction to like some unhealthy elements in men, right? And I said I just can't go with this emotionally stable man because it's too freaking boring. And like I just don't like it. So yes, I like drama. So
yes.
Well, Mongi is delivering.
She definitely is. Oh, but this episode was golden. Absolutely golden.
A cute happy end. It was sexually charged. It was like it really was deep for what it was, for the amount of time we were given with these two characters, and then it just ended on such a cute little like girl power.
Can't believe that worked.
Yeah, it was just a very positive episode overall. It was really
and now we have a date to look forward to.
Yes.
Yay.
Also,
that'll
I
be
have to
fun.
admire their self-control because if it was me there,
Lucy, we will be a little bit late to the
late to work.
Yes.
Taking the day off.
What's gonna happen when Papa Bear gets home? There's your drama, Mindy. My gosh.
We're gonna need her mom to have him out in like
Don't kill the Welsh boy.
Don't kill the Welsh boy.
Oh, so good.
They'll probably fire
So
him.
good.
And then he'll be like,
And then he'll take that new job in London, and then she'll keep playing with Dion and miss Charles and realize that it is Charles and she hasn't been away from him at all.
okay, Sabra, okay, we here.
dying on that hill.
I will. See me on this hill. When it turns out that I'm right, I get gloating time. I
was just saying, I'm gonna need your mailing address to send you tissues when you find out you're wrong, but okay.
Oh, don't worry, I got him right here. I do fully acknowledge I could be wrong. I just will not allow myself to think that way. So dying on this hill.
Good. We all need our delusions to get us through life. No, it's okay. I'm open-minded. It can be whoever. I don't know.
I really honestly can't believe how divided it was. That's really what surprised me. Is like, am I just blind? Am I totally blind? Because all I see is Charles. I just see Charles.
As you said, there were about 13 other people who agreed with you, so you're not.
Yeah, it doesn't count because you know what? I saw like 3 of them had voted for all of them.
Oh, I see.
So I'm not even sure how many really do believe that it is Charles that are there with me. It's just me. It's just me, Mindy. I'm all alone.
Oh.
There's no one here besides me.
Well, I see you also have a high dramatic element. That's awesome.
Oh, goodness. Overly dramatic. Oh, it's been so fun, guys. Thanks for letting me vent.
Thank you. I'm happy you got to join in, and thank you so much for doing this. This was so much fun.
Great job.
Well, have a wonderful night, and we'll see. Look forward to many more wonderful episodes.
Sounds good. Ready for that date. Bye, guys.
Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you so much to my current patrons: Susie, Lady Libris, Lily, Jenny, Haley, Maria, Molly, Veronica, Emily, Joe, Rochelle, Sasha, Talcos, Meg, Ann Rose, Priya, Alexa, Misty, Laura, Joanne, Patty, Jen, Imelda, Esther, I'm watching you, Taurus, Poppy Seed, Marie, Jen, Emily, Jean, Jen, Erin, D, and Kay. Your support is truly appreciated.